it was genuinely funny how ridiculous he looked. It's like the more pressure you put on him, the less likely he is to miss. After the Olympics, he came back and he scored a hat-trick in like 9 minutes. Genuinely could put him at 10 and he'd be putting people through holes.
You're playing in what people say is the best league in the world, is the toughest league in the world. But from the players you've played with and against in your 2 years over there, could you pick us an ultimate team, starting with your forwards, please, my man?
Okay. I'm going to try and stick to like a French tradition with this, with a bit of French link with the biggest front five possible. So that's the way to go. I don't know what the line out's going to look like, but the scrum will be unreal.
Amazing. You won't need
it. I'd go with Cyril Bay at Loosehead. He's unreal skills and around the field, but also just so consistent scrummaging wise. He's been out the back. He did his ankle back end of last season, but he'll be back soon, firing for us hopefully. I'll be honest, I struggle at hooker because I think we've got the best two hookers in the world. So I don't know. I'm going to have to pass that one to you because I can't decide between Marchand and Movaka. They're both unbelievable. So I can't make a choice on that because they're my mates as well. So you're
okay. Well, we'll take that. My opinion would be they are both world class. Yeah. I just love how Marvaka, he could play at 12 or 13. Yeah. I think the skill set that he's got, when he's playing, you're like, you have to watch out because you're like anything goes here. He's as good as any back I know. So, Aki, I don't know if you agree with that.
You knew what was coming as soon as you asked DC which of those two he was going to play.
The flary one. Yeah,
he's trying to make it seem like he's giving that some thought. There's no chance he's giving that thought. He's only thinking one of them.
He's thinking the Quinn's way, isn't he? I like it, but I'll let you decide on that one. And then obviously you'd know this fellow well, Uni Antonio, the biggest tight head in the world. He's ginormous. But one thing that I've always been impressed whenever we played against him is, again, like the skills that he's got. You think he'd just truck it up the jumper, but we played against them in the semi-final last year, and he's like taken the ball to the line and just offloaded it to the 10 out the back, no look, straight to the 10, and they've gone round into the corner and scored. You're like, how's that happened? But you don't expect it from a big fella like him. But so he's definitely in there at tight head. And then I've just gone with the biggest second row possible with Skelton and Miafu, which is probably is over 300 kilos between them in the second row there.
Yeah.
Skelton's always horrible to play against, and I'm glad I'm on Manny's team because big Manny Miafu is a big fella and great player as well. So those two in the row.
If you're packing down at 8 there, you're gonna be picking off a stable base, I would say.
I would say so. Yeah, I would say so. You'd be pretty happy with that scrum to work with, wouldn't you?
You just have to. Your football skills would be because you'd be rolling forward at a rate of knots. You'd just be dribbling it. You could probably. I reckon you could score a try from the halfway line with that.
Yeah, you'd give it a good go, wouldn't you? You'd give it a good go. And then with the back row, I'll be honest. These are all very good mates of mine, but unbelievable players that probably, until you play with them week in, week out, you don't see how good they are. It's one of the, the sort of guys that just do a lot of gritty work, but are just Jalonge and Francois Cross on open side and blind side. Those two, Jalonge just bangs people, mate. He has no regard for his body at all and just throws himself into anything. When he carries, he'll carry it 100% every single time. No footwork. You know he's coming at you, coming for you. Francois is just one of those players that's just good at everything, and he jumps in the line out for us. He can even call the line out. He's good at the breakdown. Sometimes just melts people out of nowhere. Good footwork, ball carry. So he's always in there. And then it's slightly different number 8 to what I'd be used to back in the UK. But Alex Rumat, who plays 8 for us, tall, rangy, I always wind him up saying he should get back in the second row, mate. So if there's ever a selection decision with me, I'm like, right, mate, come on, get back in there. Get back in the second row. It's where you're meant to be. I think he's 6'7" or something, and he's at number 8. But yeah, he likes his looks too much. That's the trouble. So I think he stays back there. But those three top quality players, and when you play with them, you sort of realise and see what they do day in, day out.
It's a hell of a pack, mate. It's a hell of a pack. Jack, before we get on to the backs, can you just give us a little bit of an insight? Because everyone watches Toulouse, and it's almost like watching the Galacticos, like Real Madrid. It's almost like they get the best players, put them all together, and you play this unbelievable brand of rugby. Like, can you just explain to us in the simplest of forms, like how much fun it is to play in that team full of those proper superstars?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you've hit the nail on the head, really. What I would add is, like, anyone that's come through the academy at Toulouse, like, there's such a way that they want to play, and what they say jouer haut, which is like play up all the time, looking for the offload, looking to keep the ball alive, and they'll learn that from the age of 9, 10 years old, playing around Toulouse, and everyone knows that's the way they want to play. So any of the boys that have come through just have got that naturally. They've got those skills. They've not been sort of judged for making mistakes as long as it was the right decision. They're not judged on the execution and the outcome. And I think that confidence you can see, like someone like Mavaka, like you were saying, you genuinely could put him at 10 and he'd be putting people through holes. And the guys like him. And I think for me, what's been so nice is coming from English rugby, which it obviously depends team to team. I know Quins, you guys like to play a little bit loose and a less structure, but a lot of teams in the Premiership and then international as well, there's a lot of structure. It's a lot based around your kicking game and working off of that, and staying in structure, staying in shape a lot of the time. And I think what I've loved is you can, if you see something and in that moment you feel it's right, as long as you've not made the wrong decision, even if the execution, the outcome isn't what you wanted, the coach will not shout at you. Believe me, if you make the wrong decision, he will shout at you. I've had many a time where I think a pick and goes on and then I don't quite have the wheels for it, and it'd be getting into me. But it's really nice to play that way, and it almost lifts a bit of a weight off your shoulders, and you can just go out there and enjoy yourself a lot of the time. And I think it does help when you've got some of the best players in the world around you that create space and the way they play. But yeah, there was times at the weekend against Ulster where it was off turnover ball. I think it was the first try we scored, like with it 90 seconds in, and like the way the backs off turnover ball, like it looked like it was a structured move the way we played it, and just running it into the corner, and you're like, fair enough, there we go. It's the speed that they play with. Yeah, I'm just jogging down to celebrate, be like, well done, boys, good work. But yeah, no, it's fun to be playing in that sort of rugby.
Jack, it sounds like to me you're at the perfect club, as in you couldn't ask for a better club to be at. With that, it obviously means you had to give up the chance of playing for England. Like, can you explain just how hard a decision was that for you, and is that sort of going forward? Do you still hold on to a dream that maybe they'll change the rules, or do you feel like maybe at some point, if you do want to wear the England shirt again, you might have to get back here? But I can imagine that's a really, really tough decision.
I think you've covered it quite well there. Like for me, I'll always want to play for England. I'll always want to play for England. That's always there and always a desire. But there's lots of things you have to consider. And I think what you described around this being as close as it can be to a perfect club, after being not let down, but sort of we was spat out of the English system with my club going bust, there not being the sort of background support in place. And at that time, that season, there was nothing there for me that was financially viable for my family, like genuinely nothing. So then I come here and I'm welcomed in so well, and to an incredible club, won my first ever trophy in my career, playing with the best players in the world, feeling like I was getting better week in, week out. Yeah, I always want to play for England. That's a desire for me. It's always going to be there. And I really do hope that happens at some point where I could have both. But yeah, if that's never the case, then I'm at peace with my decision so far and what I've made over the last couple of years. Yeah.
All you can do is keep carving up, mate. See what happens. Mate, we mentioned Galacticos earlier. I think this might be the easiest pick, I'm going to guess. We're going to move on to number 9. I'm guessing you're going to go with
Dan Robson.
Dobby, mate. What a boy. I think, as you say, with Anton, he's an incredible player and a bit of a joke, really. I remember when he came back He came back from he had like a slightly longer break. I think he had 6-7 weeks off after winning everything, which you think fair enough. After the Olympics, he came back and he scored a hat trick in like 9 minutes. And it genuinely, because I wasn't playing that week because I'd hurt my quad and was out for a couple of weeks. And I was sat on the sideline and I was like, it was genuinely funny how ridiculous he looked, considering he'd had 8 weeks off training on his own, and he's come back and done that in a top 14 game. It was just like, what on earth? Like, and I think obviously there's been so many moments like that where you're just like, okay, fair enough. No one else could do that, but you've done it. So well done. But yeah, he has to be there. And I think he's in the conversation for the best 9 ever, as everyone probably would say as well, and probably agree with me on that.
Can you give us maybe like a tiny bit more insight? Because people will want to know, like, what's he like day to day? Obviously, I've spoken to him a few times, played against him, love playing against him, hate it, but also love it. It's one of those. We thought we'd like marked him pretty well in the Champions Cup semi-final last year, and he still had 2 tries, and I think got man of the match. We're like, okay, perfect. But he's playing at a completely different level to any other 9, I think, on the planet at the moment. But like day to day, is he like the fittest, the strongest? Does he do it in training? Like, what's he like off the field? Can you give us a bit more of an insight into Antoine Dupont?
Yeah, look, I think he catches me off guard and people off guard with how quick he is, because he's not a super tall guy, but he'll run. We do it in kilometers per hour here, so I don't know what that will translate back to what we're used to, but he'd be running 35 kilometers an hour, and you think that you don't expect that. That's the speed of a winger.
Yeah.
And then when I go back to like people that take those risks and try things in training, he is doing that every single minute of training, and every single minute outside of training where there's an opportunity to do a crossfield kick to the winger, and like he scored out the try at the weekend, like he's doing that in training all the time. If the whistle's gone, he'll just look across the pitch and just have a little go and see, just give it a pop and be like, okay, right, that worked, that didn't. And I think from what I gather from it and chatting to him, I think he just loves playing rugby and loves being able to sort of see how far he can take things with it. And I think that comes from just letting loose and just trying things out. And it does come with a risk, but I think the amount he's done it and the amount he pushes that, the mistakes are they're just getting less and less and less the longer he plays. So yeah, fair play to him.
Yeah, decent player. Decent player, Mickey. Yeah.
Goes all right for me. Really goes all right. I'm excited to hear the ban outside him as well.
Yeah, well, for me, again, this is when I was talking about the back row of people that I know Antonac's got a bigger name probably than the 3 I mentioned in the back row, but he's someone, until you've played with him as well, you sort of don't realise the level of skill and time. He's one of those guys that just looks like he's got the bags of time on the ball and the control of the game, and when he's at his best, it's really pretty impressive. And if he's so competitive as well, which I like. So if he's ever pissed off in training, you're getting a shoulder at some point. He's coming for you, which is always entertaining.
Who are your centres? Let's go with centres, Jack.
So for me, again, another one that until you play with him, you probably don't realise it, but Peter Aki's unreal. And like for me, what I've loved about playing with him is the big games. If there's one man who's showing up, it's him. Like those big days, the moments in a game where you're like, we need to. Oh, sorry, I just swore, but I don't know if that's all right on this podcast or not. But
bleep it. It's going to get a bleep from us, which is great. Yeah.
You'll just suddenly see him absolutely fold someone at a moment where you need that momentum, and that's someone that I'd like to have in my team. Someone probably who I don't know if you'd have expected this at 13, but Makala, who plays for Bayonne. Right. We played against him a couple of times. He's a joke, like Fijian guy, like footwork, power, skills, and just someone that I played against him a couple of times. I'm like, you're pretty handy. I'd like to have that set of skills and maybe flying around on the edges. But he's my 13.
Awesome.
And then wingers, I've gone with. The reason I put Blair on the wing is because fullback is Ramos. So back 3 is Penno, Kinghorn, and Ramos.
Decent.
That works.
Not a bad back 3. Yeah.
Could you just touch on Ramos, because he's another that's I think for years he was doing it brilliantly, But I think amongst that sort of team, he's only just started to get the recognition I feel that he really, really deserves outside of the real rugby noses. The wider rugby public are now starting to talk about him as a star, aren't they?
Yeah, look, he's class, mate, and I think he's again someone that when you're looking for a big moment in a game, out of absolutely nothing, will make a line break and take you 80 meters up the pitch, and he's someone that can light a game up in seconds, and it's pretty handy having. I'm glad I'm not the one defending against him off of like a counter attack or a kick return. You're like he's pretty lethal.
His kicking game, both from the tee and out of hand, is I'd say the best. And he doesn't miss kicks, Jack, which must be such a nice feeling that you just. It's always like when you play with Faz. You're like, okay, that's
3 points. Yeah. And I think I honestly think with Toma as well, the bigger the game, the less he misses. It's like the more pressure you put on him, the less likely he is to miss. In the sometimes in those other games you might see him miss 1 or 2, but then as soon as you get into a game where there's like money on it, if you like, he's there firing it through.
Unless he gets charged down. Does anyone give him any bank about that? No.
I haven't anyway. I I tell you what though, we in pre-season this year. It's probably my greatest moment in Toulouse since I've been at Toulouse. He was doing some kicking practice and missed. He was about 10 out from the touchline on the 40, and he's missed it. And I was like, I got stuck into it. It was just after training, and I was like, mate, like I basically said, "C'est facile, like it's easy, mate. How have you missed that?" And he was like, "Go on then." And he's put. I was like, "All right, €100, put €100 on it." Done the tee, and all the coaches have gathered round behind me, and I was like, just back this with as much confidence as possible, like it's something I do day in day out. Line the tee up. And I honestly, I've never hit a kick better in my life. Straight through the middle, probably had another 10 yards on it. And I was like, I just turned around to our coach and sort of said it in French and was just like, if you need me, I'm here, mate. And I just was like, €100, yeah, give it to me later, and just walked off. I was like, it's the best moment I think I've ever had playing for Toulouse. And there's been some pretty cool moments.
Jack, thank you for your time, mate. All the very best the rest of the season. Hopefully we see you soon. But mate, best of luck, mate. Enjoy Toulouse and keep winning trophies, bro.
Thank you very much, guys. It's great to be on. Thank you.